Okay, everyone, this presentation will be in English. Fundamental people skills. I'm your presenter. I think a non-vocal presentation is enough.
Excuse me, can you speak up?
Okay. It's not on?
It's not the mic, it's for the recording.
A louder voice I can do, okay?
Great.
Everybody hear me now in the back? Good. People skills, what are they? Well, skills is fortunately a learnable behavior. So if you feel like you don't have a lot of people skills as it is, you can have. And a skill is usually how you do something, how you accomplish something, as it is with people skills. And people skills is, for example, defined like this: how to win friends and how to influence people. I can't say that I'm an expert practitioner, but I did read a book about this, and I can tell you about the book. It was written by Dale Carnegie 80 years ago. So it may be old news, but don't worry, it's good news. And contemporary psychology has backed up most of the things in this book. So it's safe for me to present this. I will tell you about 6 very fundamental ways to make people like you. And when I say fundamental, I mean basic, but I also mean that this is something that everybody really should know. These are very powerful techniques. They're mundane, they're commonplace. They're something that when you hear about them, you will know about them already, probably, but you might not know about them consciously in your day-to-day activities. But they're so powerful that you should. And I'll tell you a little bit about them and some of the mechanisms that go on in the brain. Take a look at this chap. What's he doing? Or she, could be a bitch. But this little fellow is very happy to see you, as you can tell. It shows. And why? Because he or she is genuinely interested in you and very happy to see you. So trick number 1 for you is to become genuinely interested in people, or at least appear to be. And this is especially important when you meet someone for the first time. And it can be just a barely perceptible change in your state when you see them. You can go from something like this, fairly neutral, to this. Oh, good to see you. You notice a slight change in attitude, in happiness. So it doesn't always have to be quite as intense as this guy does. You don't have to jump around, bark, wag your tail, and drool at people. As my mother used to say, too much and too little will spoil everything. But a barely, or at least perceptible change, and the people that you are talking to will notice, consciously or subconsciously, and like you all the more for it. Body language is, as most of you probably already know, quite important. If you recognize these numbers, this is how communication breaks down. The components of communication breaks down in verbal, vocal but non-verbal, and body language. So, verbal is the words, the semantics, the meanings of your words. Vocal is the tone of voice and everything else in how you say things. That's not semantic. And this is percentage, by the way. So 7% of your communication is done through the words, 38% is done through tone of voice, etc. And the rest is body language. So body language, as you can see, is more than half of the communication. Very important. So, for example, when you meet someone for the first time, and by the way, first impressions, very important, very important. As a rule, people will make up their mind about you in the first 5 to 10 seconds of your interaction with them. So you need to make the most of those seconds. And the body language is important. So when you meet someone, it's a good idea to turn towards them and open your shoulders. Open hands, also a good idea. Shows that you have noble intentions. Eye contact, a firm handshake, and a smile. These things will take you a long way to establish a first impression. The rest of the conversation, the person will try in their mind to justify or strengthen the first impression. So yeah, and smile, talking about smiles. Isn't that a lovely smile? Fundamental way number 2 is the smile. Very important. A powerful tool for you to use in interaction with people. It reflects that you're happy, and you must have a reason to be happy. It reflects that you're competent and you have confidence in yourself. It reflects that you must be doing something right. And surely people will want to be with a person who's doing something right. It might rub off on them. It'll help them be successful. So a smile is a promise of success. It also signals an absence of aggression and hostility, which means that people will trust you, they'll lower their guards, and they will expect a successful interaction. And psychological research has shown that when people see a smile in a person, even if it's just in a photograph, they automatically assume that their interaction with this person will end in a positive way. So the smile is important, but for more reasons. For you, it means brain activity that releases powerful neurotransmitters that are involved in pleasure. Dopamine, serotonin, and even endorphins, which is the body's natural painkiller, are all released when you smile. So it's a good thing for you as well. In fact, this stimulation when you smile has the potential to stimulate your brain as much as eating 10,000 bars of chocolate. If you like chocolate, then you know that when you give a person a smile, you're giving them a treat. And of course, a smile is contagious. So when you smile at someone, you're actually giving them a gift of pleasure neurotransmitters. Also, if you can't muster a natural smile, what is a natural smile, by the way? A Duchenne smile? Have you heard about a Duchenne smile? A Duchenne, French researcher. He studied the smile and discovered that in order for people to experience a smile as authentic and pleasurable, you have to smile not just with your mouth, but you have to bring in the cheeks, lift the cheekbones a little, and the eyes, crinkle the eyes. So that's the perfect smile. However, again, as my mother used to say, too much, too little spoils everything. If you exaggerate your facial expression, your smile, is he doing that? Maybe. I'm not sure. But it will have the opposite effect. People will detect that you're not genuine, and they will dislike you instead, subconsciously or consciously. So how do you do this? What if you just don't feel like smiling? Well, this is incredible. You're not going to believe me. This is actual cutting-edge psychological research showing that if you wish other people well, it makes you happy. So if you walk down the street, see a stranger, look at his face, and think to yourself that I hope that this guy has a really good day. I wish him success in his work, in his love life, whatever. You will be more happy. If you do this on your way to work, everyone you see, you wish them well, you will have a great day. This is psychological research. This is how we're built as human beings. I know it sounds incredible, but I encourage you to try that yourself. It's powerful, and it will make you happy. It will make you smile more easily.
Does it work in front of a mirror?
Sorry?
Does it work in front of a mirror?
Actually, being in front of a mirror is another powerful psychological mechanism. I'll return to that in a minute, but I think it works. If you can't master a natural smile, it's better to put on a fake smile, because that will actually activate the same mechanisms in the brain as a real smile. Maybe in a smaller scale, but it will. And it'll make you more happy, and in a while you'll be smiling naturally. So, what's this guy listening to? He's actually listening to his own name. Your own name is probably the sweetest sound that you're ever going to hear in any language. And returning to looking yourself in the mirror, it's a very powerful thing, this identity thing. We all enjoy engaging in what they call self-representational behavior. Thinking about yourself, describing yourself, thinking about your mental state, and looking in the mirror, and hearing your own name actually creates the same activity in the brain. So they all fall under the same umbrella, self-representational behavior. So when somebody is using your name, it feels good. And it's also an exceptional attention grabber. If you're talking to someone else or engaging in a very concentration demanding activity, you'll still hear your own name, and your attention will snap towards that sound. So when you use someone's name, you get their attention. They will hear you. As well as they will feel that they are being seen by you, recognized. They will feel important and connected to you. Time is running out. I'll skip this. This is how you can more easily remember names. Trick number 4, be a good listener. Also very important. People will like you because, for example, if you let them talk about themselves, they will again engage in self-representational behavior, which feels good. And they're talking about something they're enthusiastic about and something they know a lot about, which makes them feel comfortable. And they will walk away from the interaction feeling good about you. Also, when you listen, you learn a lot more about the person you're talking to than if you were doing the talking. And you learn a lot that you can use to further the relationship or whatever goal you have with the interaction. In addition to getting them to talk about themselves, you can get them to talk about their interests. Everybody, nothing is more interesting than yourself. Everybody thinks more about themselves than anything else. Okay, my time is up, but I'll keep talking. It's lunchtime, so anyone can leave if they want. And finally, you can engage in conversation about things that will make the person you're talking to feel important. And this can be something as direct as telling them that you are important to the team. You're important to the business that I'm trying to do. You're important to the work I'm trying to do. Your skills are important. You have good skills, you're good at them. The contribution that you have made so far in the work that we're doing has been important. And also you can talk about their accomplishments, not necessarily just at work, but also if they have a great stamp collection, for example. Talk about their stamp collection. It'll make them feel good, and they will like you. However, again, I coined this phrase, beware insincere. If you are insincere, if you start talking about people's skills, for example, and you don't mean it, usually they pick up on that. Subconsciously, they will know that you're being a phony. So be sincere. However, I mean, even the worst person has positive sides. If you work hard, you become good at spotting those. And finally, some fundamental principles when handling people. This is a bonus, I guess. Avoid criticism. People don't like to be judged. They don't like to be told they've done something wrong, that they have weaknesses. If you do that, you will get this. Or you can get this. You know, you can even get this. So what do you do instead? Sometimes you need to, well, you feel like you have to criticize in order to change things. Well, what you do instead is you try this. Appreciation. Like I mentioned, you can find something good in something people do, in how they do things, how they are. Practice, and it's not that hard. Yeah, that concludes the presentation.